Well, this can mean only one thing. We're chunking pumpkins! Howdy, amigos, and welcome to Junkyard Wars. Well, we got two more teams of mechanical wizards who are gonna take our hunks of junkyard love and turn them into freakishly cool machines.
Today's challenge is to build a machine capable of launching a pumpkin over the walls of an enemy castle 50 yards away. So this challenge is all about accuracy. But to make them work just a little bit harder, there's no engines and no explosives allowed. The only power source they have is themselves. So let's meet our junkyard junkies.
In the blue corner are the Young Guns, a trio of engineering rookies from California, captained by Stan Brigham.
Starring Jesus Betran. I am 22 years old and I'm a student at Stanford doing a mechanical design internship. Stan Brigham.
I'm 23 years old. I'm a mechanical design engineer and I like to play golf.
The Young Guns have drafted the amazing Ron Toms from Texas to be their expert. Ron is catapult crazy, the ideal man to launch the Young Guns into the lead.
Pitting wisdom and experience against youth and enthusiasm are Captain Jay and the Rusty Juveniles from Ohio.
I'm Tom Goff. I'm 59 years old. I own a small business that makes stuff like this.
He's really a seamstress.
I'm Ray. I'm 57. I'm a supervisor for assembly of industrial equipment. And to show you I was down here working, I made the letter O.
Hi, just Jay, 55. Yeah, I am the youngest by far. I don't do a lot except tinker. We all grew up in this little town. We all went to the high school here, and we've been very good friends ever since. That's us.
The Rusties have wheeled in the scraptastic Waddy Thompson from Florida. Waddy was once fined $100 for having too much junk in his own backyard. These fellas know a thing or two about scrap.
Come on down, junkyard donkeys! Today, we're at war. We need you to build a machine that is capable of chucking pumpkins into the enemy castle. We're talking a deadly barrage of vegetable artillery. So the key here is accuracy. The machines cannot have engines or explosives. So we are talking sheer muscle power.
There you have it, gentlemen. The challenge is set. You have 10 hours in which to build your weapons of war, starting from when the ball hits the bottom of the junkyard time machine. Wait for it.
Ready?
Go!
Before they can whip up a machine, the teams need to dream up a plan.
All right, Ron, you're the expert. How do we get started?
We're going to build a catapult. And I'd recommend something called a trebuchet.
It's easy for you to say.
There's two basic kinds of trebuchets. There's one that's a kind of a seesaw. A big counterweight attached onto this end here, right? You have a sling attached onto this end with your pumpkin here.
Our high-tech whiz kids are going for a low-tech option. They're working on the theory that if you come down hard on one end of a seesaw, the other end flies into the air like a giant catapult. They'll need a strong throwing arm with a big weight on one end and a whole bunch of metal bars to hold the whole thing up.
What would you normally make this out of?
I've made a few of these out of wood. I've never made one out of metal, so that's our challenge. What we need to really concentrate on first is the arm and the counterweight assembly, because that will define the shape of the rest of the machine.
Over the wall, the wise old men in orange have their own ideas.
We have to hit a target with pumpkins. Any suggestions?
You heard of these things that shoot pumpkins with air? Maybe we can build that. You have a tank. You pump air into it. The tank is connected to a valve that opens very quickly. And when the valve opens, the high pressure of the air behind it pushes it out the barrel the same way.
Waddy's idea is to build an air cannon. They'll pump up a large amount of air into a container to get the air up to a high pressure. Then they'll release it in one controlled burst into a barrel and hope that the force is enough to blast their pumpkin into oblivion. With no engines allowed, the Rusties need to work out some way to pump up the air.
Pedal or pump?
Okay, leg power, that'll work. I did see some bicycles out there.
We got to find valves and a tank. Hurry back.
Go get it.
Now it's just a small matter of sifting through 4 acres of junk to find the parts they need. And the race is on. Sheer stamina could give the speedy young guns an edge over the laid-back rusty juveniles. But the rusties have started well.
Yeah, I think I got the valve, guys. What do you think, Ray?
I think that's it. All right, we're gonna go look for a compressor now.
Might be able to use the wheels off of this, Brian.
Neither team knows what the other is building, and with 10 hours ticking away, there's no time for social niceties.
Out of my way.
Out of your way.
Each team is racing to build a missile launcher to fire pumpkins with devastating accuracy. In orange are the rusty juveniles from Ohio, older in years but young at heart. Ray and Tom misspent their youth putting cars together from scratch. Today they're looking for parts to build an air-powered cannon.
All righty, still looking for a compressor.
Oh, I don't see him yet.
In blue are the young guns from California. Engineering boffins Jesus and Brian are scrounging junk to turn into a trebuchet, a giant medieval seesaw that will fling their pumpkins skywards. But this will be a trebuchet with a difference. Expert Ron's come up with a radical new design using wheels.
Don't know if these will do, but
This look great. Actually, we could use this whole thing. We could just mount the arm right on top of this.
Talk me through what all this means.
This is a side view of the trebuchet.
Okie doke.
And so this skinny little line here is our arm,
Right.
our throwing arm.
Yep.
And what's unusual about this trebuchet is that instead of having the wheels on the base, we've moved the wheels up to the arm. Okay?
Wow. In a traditional trebuchet, the throwing arm is fixed, and as it swings, the weight falls in an arc. Ron's brainy idea is to sit the throwing arm on wheels, so that as it swings, the weight drops straight down vertically. He's hoping this means more energy will be transferred to the pumpkin, which should be flung skywards. So this runs down really smoothly, because you've got gravity, and that just flicks over like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Very
like
good.
it. Jesus is bringing in a cross here,
Oh my God.
appropriately. Which bit would that be for?
That looks like a good arm to me.
So have you ever thrown anything really ambitious in a trebuchet?
I threw myself once.
How did that feel?
It was great fun, great fun. I threw myself into a river, and afterwards I threw my friends into the river.
On the other side of the wall, Jay and Waddy are waiting for vital parts. There's no sign of a cannon barrel or air tank. However, Tom's found a few rusty old bicycles.
What did you decide on doing?
Well, at this point, we've decided to try compressed air.
Out of a
Barrel.
like a cannon style?
Yeah.
And how are you gonna put the air in it?
We're going to pump it.
The Rusties plan to use bicycles to power a compressor which will pump air into a tank. When the air is up to a high enough pressure and they're ready to fire, they'll open a valve. This releases a mighty burst of air into the barrel, hopefully enough to launch their pumpkin to the heavens.
Who gets to pedal?
Probably all of us. That's why we're getting a bunch of bicycles.
This could be very slimming for you, Jay.
Well, no, not necessarily.
Personally, I want to see you, Jay, on that little tiny bicycle, just going.
Wow, that's perfect. Actually, it's a little
Ron and Stan are getting into an advanced technical discussion about where to weld the wheels on the throwing arm of their trebuchet.
cut the two ends off of this and then weld it right onto this. Then we got most of our arm built.
Ron reckons that the long end of the arm should be about twice the length of the short end if he's going to get the best leverage to launch the pumpkin.
Yeah, flip it over.
With no time to lose, Brian and Stan get on with fixing the throwing arm to the axle. Stan plans to weld a bit of pipe to the end of the arm to hold the axle in place. It needs to be a really strong joint, or the whole machine could fall apart on their first pumpkin launch. Trebuchets were invented in China in the 11th century, but soon spread to Europe. They were just the thing for attacking an enemy under siege conditions, hurling huge chunks of rock to blast away castle walls. It wasn't just rocks they threw. In medieval times, plague-infected bodies were flung over city walls to force the inhabitants out. It was one of the first examples of biological warfare.
no record of them throwing pumpkins back then, but these days, trebuchets turn up all over the place. At the annual Pumpkin Chunkin' competition in Delaware, amateur tinkerers build amazing machines to chuck pumpkins as far as humanly possible. This bizarre sport was invented by Broad Dog Thompson a few years back.
Hey, this is Broad Dog.
We've dragged the godfather of pumpkin chunkin' himself into the junkyard to judge our own team's efforts.
Rusty Juveniles have come up with the air cannon kind of idea, and the Young Guns have come up with the trebuchet kind of idea. What do you think of both of those?
Well, the air cannon is the newest thing out there for chunking. It's a great thing, but it's not too tough to build. I mean, you know, you don't have to be a brain to build it.
But we got 10 hours.
I know, but these guys are old. And the trebuchet, the young fellas are, you know, they're going wild with it, but they're using a lot of math and calculating, and that's what they need to do because they're, you know, just out of school educated.
Who do you think is going to win?
I'm putting my money on the young boys.
The Rusties are playing it cool. Papa Smurf has spotted a compressor in an old industrial refrigerator, while Tom's looking out for a pumpkin-sized cannon barrel.
That looks great. Pretty strong. I'm getting a little worried about time now. We need to speed it up some, and then we can start building our frame.
Jesus and Brian are grabbing every bit of tubing they can find for the frame of their giant seesaw.
Hold on a second.
We got an interesting battle between, I believe, the older set and
Old dudes and young dudes.
I didn't want to say old. Older, more experienced.
But they like going on about how old they are. I mean, they're actually not that old.
Oh, I know.
But they love it. They love playing the old kind of
maybe
walking
it's the hard
stick.
living. But what about Young Guns? What have they?
The Young Guns. Well, they're a bit nervous about their welding, though. The Young Guns.
Are they not good welders?
They're not. I don't think they are Junkyard Wars' top welders. I think they wouldn't be upset to hear me say.
Let's just agree that we'll be really far away when they start launching these things.
Definitely.
There's our beauty. God bless you.
Ray and Tom have finally dragged that compressor back to the build area. Now they can get on and look for a barrel.
Just so that you know, our minimum pipe diameter for our barrel is going to be 10 inches.
I think I might have struck gold.
Valve working, we'd still
Waddy's checking out the compressor.
This is not going to do.
This compressor apparently was the problem with the machine. Looks to be why they scrapped it. The compressor's bad.
Let's get all these pieces welded together, stand them up. Okay?
We got to make sure and keep two people welding all the time.
Ron and Stan have only just gotten around to laying out the frame of their giant seesaw. It's like a huge jigsaw puzzle.
How's it going so far?
Well, we're probably a little behind schedule. I'd like to be a little further ahead. We've got a lot of stuff to cut, a lot of stuff to weld.
And I understand one of your fears is that you're not great welders?
Not all of us are the best welders, no.
Who's the best on the team?
Best on the team would have to be Brian over there.
What do you have to weld on your machine? Do you have a lot of welding?
We have a lot of welding.
Over 200 feet of tubing.
Ron looks a little stressed out about the frame. Any mistake at this stage could be fatal.
The gap between here should be 2 3/4 inches, and try to get it as square as you can.
Have we double-checked our measurements?
I've triple-checked them, and they're different every time.
Now it's down to Brian and his welding skills to stick the whole mess together.
Don't break the welds. Hey.
We broke them already.
All right, weld it again.
Pressure.
Next door, problems are rolling in thick and fast for the Rusties.
I haven't a clue what we're doing.
We can't fasten to the plastic.
Yeah, we need a steel pipe.
All right, so we're back to square one. Yep.
Surely Waddy can't complain about this one. And Papa Smurf scrounged a second compressor. Better make sure this one works.
I'm feeling air pressure.
I can feel it in here.
Yeah.
This may be the way to go.
Are they driving you a bit hard out there?
Well, these guys are old. They can't handle the heat. They can't handle the work.
You need to find a bit, though. There's a crucial bit of your machine missing.
There is a crucial bit. One of those, only larger.
This is a butterfly valve,
Yes.
is it? So this is something that you'll be able to snap down and it'll instantly let all the air.
If you pull the lever here, you'll see how it opens.
Pull it this
straight
way.
to you.
Oh, yeah.
See?
The problem with this butterfly valve is that it's too small for their barrel. It would restrict the flow of air, so not enough would get out and the pumpkin would go nowhere. The ideal valve is the same diameter as their barrel, so that when it flips open, all the air shoots out at once and blasts the pumpkin into space.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Five glorious hours left.
It's halfway through the day, and the Rusties have put on a sudden burst of speed. And they need to, because they haven't even scrounged all the parts for their cannon, let alone begun hooking it all together. They're still missing a big air tank, but Waddy seems to have been sidetracked by a tasty-looking truck transmission.
Have you in? Okay. Oh, now I got it.
Our man, Whoopi, double Whoopi.
Tom has struck gold. He snapped up a huge 10-inch butterfly valve to gladden Waddy's heart.
Now that is a butterfly valve that won't quit.
Another small victory for Tom, but he still hasn't found an air tank for the cannon.
I'm sorry. No, because you look over there and I think they're missing one key component right now. They're missing
energy.
Some kind of
energy.
All right. So, what do you got your money on right now?
I'm going with Young Guns at this point. It could change, but I'm gonna have to see a tank. I'm gonna see something go together over here.
I'd like to bring the arm over here and just roll it through a test run.
It's the moment of truth for Ron's giant seesaw, as Jesus and Brian mount the wheeled arm onto the frame for the very first time.
Whoa, look at this.
What's wrong?
Take a look at this view. They don't line up.
Pull, keep on. Don't let it fall off. Okay, hold that there.
For some reason, I don't want to stand in the middle of this.
You can let go now. You guys can let go now. Okay, keep going down. Yeah, see, that's what I'm afraid of.
Despite all their efforts, nothing measures up. It's a huge setback for Ron's attempts to bring trebuchet science into the 21st century. The rusty juveniles are fighting against the clock to find an air tank for their compressed air cannon.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
I think I saw some tanks alongside of that big bus.
We don't have that much pressure. We don't know what kind of pressure we're going to get.
It'll be fast and easy cycling as the tank starts to fill with air. Then as the pressure builds, it'll get harder to pedal, like going up a hill. So Waddy plans to use a car gearbox to shift down a gear when the going gets tough.
Next door, Californian college boys, the Young Guns, have run into serious problems.
The center of our treads is off the tracks. See that? These rails are too wide apart.
Well, we bend it in.
They need to come in a good inch. Bring it this way, towards me. Roll it. Here.
Nope.
Like this.
Don't want to make a big interruption, but I understand we have just a teensy potential crisis. Stan, as captain, do you have any ideas?
We have a few options open to us. All of them aren't exactly pretty.
Our spacing is not right. When we got these things plumbed, we didn't realize that the floor wasn't level. And so our track does one of these.
I can't believe you're going to blame it on our floor.
Hey, you can measure it yourself.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure our floor isn't level. Well, now could you, this is me just being naive, but could you just, heat the pipes and bend them in so that you've got...
What's going to keep them in, though?
Well, if you ran a brace.
And then our arm would hit the brace when it comes through.
You're right. You've got to have an arm swinging back and forth.
Right.
So this is a legitimate problem.
Yeah, this is a serious problem.
It's an opportunity.
All right, it's an opportunity. That's what I like. All right, get back to it, guys.
Okay, whoa.
Gentlemen, you have 4 hours left of build time. 4 hours.
It's Christmas.
How are the Rusties getting on then?
I think we can all go,
Oh, good.
because they have a really cool setup where they're gonna run on a bicycle that goes to this car transmission.
They had to get cars in somehow,
That's a
didn't
guy
they?
thing in there. That's a guy thing. If you can't have the engine, you can have the transmission.
Exactly.
So they've got a transmission they can ship if they want to.
Aw.
Maybe wear the leather gloves.
That's actually what's made them happier, isn't it?
that-
They've got a bit
oh.
of car park.
Now, what about Young Guns? How's that coming
Well,
along?
the Young Guns are actually, they're looking pretty good. They think they're going to finish in time, but they're all pretty fresh out of college.
Right.
And they said the way they always worked at college is, you stay up the night before till 5 o'clock in the morning to get your essay done in time.
You don't do
It's just
anything
the way it
until the
works.
last second.
Exactly,
With
and that's
5
the way
minutes
it's
to
going
go,
to
you
work.
read the entire book.
Exactly.
We're having fun yet.
Tom's riding high. He's discovered a piece of industrial steel piping ideal for an air tank. Now Jay has a complete kit of parts. He finally gets to pull rank as captain.
Let's stop for a second and see where we're going and make sure we're all going in the right direction. We got to decide how long the barrel's got to be yet.
Right.
And I'm thinking, my own mind, I'm thinking whatever we got for storage, for air, we should be 3/4 of that, no more than 3/4 of that for the barrel length. What do you think?
1-to-1 works good, 3/4 to 1 will work okay too.
For the most efficient blast of air, the barrel and the tank should be about the same volume, so that the pumpkin accelerates for the whole length of the barrel. If the barrel's too short, the pumpkin is released before all the air is used, so it won't go very far. At the moment, the Rusty's barrel is too long, so by the time it gets out, the pumpkin is already slowing down. That is, if it gets out at all.
Let's make it 8'6".
We need 400 pounds, man.
We need 400 pounds now? Okay.
We don't want to be out there with not enough weight. It's better to have too much.
The young guns need a lot of weight to power their machine, so they've grabbed some heavy metal grates to cut into pieces and hang off the throwing arm. By altering the weight, they should be able to alter the range of their trebuchet.
So the young guns, they can adjust the trebuchet with the weight.
With the weight center.
Right? So it sounds like this is a very sensitive system. Well, the pumpkins we have are made by Mother Nature.
Mother Nature controls the pumpkin.
So some might be heavier, some might be lighter. How does that affect the machine?
If they get 3 shots, they have to have 3 pumpkins weighed to the same weight anyway to start with.
Adversely, the rusty juveniles.
They'll
now,
only have to go.
How about if the size is different to fit in the cannon barrel?
Hey, there you go. You figured it out. Pumpkins are not all round, so I'm gonna say the pumpkin's not gonna come out every time out of the cannon the same. Well, these boys throw the weight the same every time. It should. They're gonna come out the same spot every time once they get her adjusted. So that's why my money's on these guys.
Man, I did not pull it. I drug it.
Ready?
The rusty juveniles are still struggling to keep up. They finally gathered all the stuff they need in one place, but is there enough time to put it all together?
Now let's all get back.
The joints between the barrel and the tank have got to be strong enough to withstand the air pressure when the cannon is fired, so they need flanges. But they can't find any, so Waddy's quickly making some up.
Fell apart.
Tom is trying out the bikes for size and is a little worried about his seating arrangements.
Big wide seat. Big wide. Off of. Yes! You bet your butt. Where's my hat?
Brian's fixed that little problem with the frame in record time.
See, it's not going to fall off of the rails.
Crisis over for now, the young guns can all breathe a sigh of relief. But they've still got a lot of work to do before they'll see pumpkins in the air. Ron starts work on the sling that'll carry the pumpkin. It'll be hooked onto a metal rod on the end of the throwing arm. Waddy's handy bit of flange work pays off, and finally the Rusties are about to start the long, slow process of putting together something that resembles a cannon.
Supper time. We could theoretically start putting things together.
Yep. Well, that's next.
Gentlemen, start your panic. You now have 2 hours. I repeat, you now have 2 hours.
Quit raining yet?
Yep.
Nightfall means it's getting pretty close to crunch time. Now, even if the Rusties manage to get their cannon together, they still don't know if their pedal power will be enough to get a pumpkin into the air. Over the wall, there's a gigantic junkyard sculpture, but the weight could prove too much for the less than spectacular welds.
Hey, what you guys doing?
Moving a barrel.
Having a barrel party?
Jay and Papa Smurf are gearing up for their first connection.
One of these flanges has got 10 holes and the other one's got 12.
It's a testing time in the blue camp.
sort of worked, didn't it?
Yeah, we had a little fun there.
It's going to be quite a noisy machine, isn't it? Ricketing around all over the place. You haven't got any weights on the end, have you? You're just letting go. I mean, that's with no weight.
Well, actually, it's with about 75 pounds of weight.
Right, just the weight of the
solid
trunnion.
bar.
Right. But you need about, how much do you reckon on there?
Probably about 400.
Right.
The weights are over there if you want to take a look at them.
Yeah.
Where's your, here's a weight.
It's heavy.
Oh, the noise this is going to make by the time you've got these things attached. That's really heavy. That's, what's that, about 100 pounds?
Roughly,
it's probably like 75.
It's about my maximum lift capacity is what it is.
You're pretty good at that.
Half an hour left to build. 1/2 hour.
The Young Guns test fire has galvanised the Rusties into action. They almost have everything connected and it's time to take their bikes for a ride. It's the moment of truth. The pressure is on.
Ready, Papa Smurf?
Ready.
Ready, Captain J?
You ready? Hit it.
Lift off.
20, 30, with a lot of leaking. Well, without the leak.
You just gotta love it, don't you?
Even with a bit of leakage, that's a respectable pressure of 30 pounds per square inch. That's about the pressure of a car tyre.
So the question remains, who wins the war?
Well, over here you got age and wisdom. You got youth and vigor.
Yeah, but you've got a cannon and you've got a
trebuchet.
hard to pronounce French item. So which one do you choose?
I'm sticking by the French item.
All right, the trebuchet it
The
is.
trebuchet.
War is near, gentlemen. 15 minutes left. 15 to build.
It's all coming together at the last minute, but the serious testing will take place tomorrow.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Stand down, soldiers. Stand down. Put your weapons down. Gentlemen, a job well done. I'm proud of all of you.
Welcome back to Junkyard Wars. We're at D-Day. Why don't you stick around? It's gonna be a blast. Okay, Sergeant!
Program round 1. Stand by. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fire.
We've come to a top-secret military test site to try out our Devils of Destruction. 2 teams of scrap metal junkies have laid siege to the enemy castles 50 yards away. The block walls are braced for the attack. Our missile launchers are lined up on the battlefront. Stand back as the Rusty Juvenile's awesome air-powered cannon goes head-to-head with the Young Guns' terrifying trebuchet.
Oh, shucks. What broke? The trigger.
Took them all day to build that?
Brainy boffins, the Young Guns, have built a kind of medieval catapult powered by weight. But this is a modern design and has yet to be tested. It's not just the design which is suspect. There are more than 50 welds which need to be able to take the strain. There could be a ton of scrap metal flying through the air instead of pumpkins.
Heavy guy. Brian, stand on it.
How's your leg, Pop? Good.
You're gonna have a coronary. Slow down.
Go, baby, go! All right, it is almost time to wage war against the enemy. But before then, time to practice.
We've given each team just 3 shots to test their missile launchers. If everything's working, they should be able to fine-tune their trajectories to hit the castle. First up, it's the Rusty Juveniles. Waddy's got a secret weapon. It's a plastic bucket which will stop the air leaking out round the sides of the pumpkins. And so it doesn't get stuck, lubrication is called for.
Mayonnaise. That should be enough. 1 bucket going in.
The bucket seals the pumpkin in the barrel like wadding in a gun.
All right, let's get this puppy going now.
It's the moment of truth. Can the Rusties pump up the pressure?
Safety's in. Pressurize.
It takes a long, hard 10 minutes of pedaling to get the pressure up to 10 pounds per square inch. But for their first test shot, the Rusties are going for a pressure of 22. That's if their legs are up to it.
Are we there yet?
2, 1. Look out, folks!
Let's go to 15.
High fives. Let's just grease it and do it.
The first pumpkin overshot the castle by 40 feet. With only 2 test shots left, the pressure's on to reduce the pressure.
Air pressure is 13. 3, 2, 1. Salad!
The pumpkin got stuck in the barrel. What's needed is an extra side order of mayonnaise.
Hey, without the mayonnaise, we'd be in trouble.
Oh, and a slight increase in pressure.
15 on the button.
3, 2, 1. Salad!
Oh, another flopper duper.
Man.
We have a serious problem, gents.
The Rusty's attempt to avoid a whole bunch of extra pedaling hasn't worked, and their testing time has run out. Now they'd better rest up in preparation for the final countdown.
Next up, it's the young guns. First, they need to know exactly how much their pumpkins weigh, so they can adjust the weight on their machine for a consistent shot every time. That's the theory, anyway.
So we got a 4, a 6, an 8, and a 7.
My guess is that we have about 250 pounds. So I don't think we're going to make it quite to the wall. We'll make it maybe 2/3 of the way there.
The pumpkin goes into a sling and is attached by a rope to a hook at the end of the arm.
Hey, don't fire that thing.
Yeah, now the cannon, at least, you knew the cannon, no matter what happens with the cannon, far or short, it was going that way. The trebuchet
Could go that way, that way, or straight up. If you go straight up, all you do is watch it and then move.
Are they ready? 3, 2, 1, pull! Whoa! That's not what's supposed to happen.
That's not what's supposed to happen.
Now that chunked a pumpkin.
Serious problem.
That's gonna hurt in the morning.
The sling's not releasing the pumpkin soon enough, so Ron makes a minor technical adjustment.
3, 2, 1, fire!
All right, misfire number 2.
I think I ate some pumpkin that time.
It's a disaster. So, Jesus hacks the end off the hook.
Where'd that mayo go?
It seems both teams have a taste for salad dressing. Anything goes for their last practice shot.
3, 2, 1, fire!
It's a stunning shot, and their aim is right on line. It must have been the condiment.
Right! Mayonnaise is the answer.
Very good, very good.
Yeah. Woo! That was good, man. Good job, guys.
Oh, I guess you really are an expert.
Sometimes.
Gentlemen, talks have broken down and we are now at war. Each team will have 3 chances to chunk the enemy castle with pumpkins. You will get 30 points for a direct hit on the enemy castle. 100 points for a hit inside the enemy castle. If you hit nothing, you get nothing. Rusty Juveniles, you're up first.
Okay, my little pumpkin friend, would you like to go for a little ride? Here we go.
23.
3, 2, 1. Look out, Castle.
Nice, nice, come on, baby.
Good shot.
We're a little long, guys.
Gotta be higher.
Just change elevation.
Remember, it's the orange pumpkin, not the black plastic plug, that needs to hit the castle. And this one's gone too far.
The enemy is not scared at this point.
No points. Young Guns, first shot.
So far, the Young Guns have had only one good throw out of this heap of junk. Can they repeat their success?
We're good. 3, 2, 1, fire! No! Woo! Woo! Woo!
Oh, man!
It's a great shot, and with a smooth release from the sling, the pumpkin just misses the wall of the Rusty's castle.
Kathy, how did that look?
I'd say it's about 8 feet out.
We're looking right at it here, and it's perfect. We just got to get it a little bit shorter.
It is 0-0 right now. Rusty Juveniles, second shot.
Goodbye, Mr. Pumpkin. Have a nice ride.
Keeping their air pressure the same, the Rusties raise their cannon barrels skywards.
22 and a half, and that's where we're going to hold it for this shot.
3, 2, 1, launch!
There she goes. Look at her. Woo-hoo! Will it hit? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Oh! See that windage?
Mercy!
With a higher trajectory, the Rusties' second pumpkin missed the castle by just a few feet.
Right here.
The aeroplanes are scared.
Okay.
That's quite a big dent. We've actually gone technical, George, and we've got the tape measure out. And it's 7 foot 1 inch beyond the castle.
So all of a sudden, the Rusty Juveniles are in the lead.
All right.
Rusty Juveniles, you only missed by 7 feet. You are technically in the lead. Young Guns, have at it.
The Young Guns' aim is right on. For their second shot, they've just taken a little weight off to shorten the distance.
Here we go, baby.
All right, man.
3, 2, 1, fire!
Woo! Oh! Woo! Woo! It's going in.
Oh! We hit the wall.
We hit the wall.
Pieces hit the wall.
Pieces hit the wall.
Pieces hit the wall.
Pieces hit the wall.
Another perfect release. It looks like a direct hit on the front of the Rusty's castle.
We hit the wall. We hit the wall.
We cracked it.
The castle has been chunked.
Young Guns, on your second pumpkin shot, you receive 30 points for hitting the castle.
No.
Rusty Juveniles, this is your final shot. This is the most important thing that you will ever do in your entire life. Go get them.
No pressure, guys. No pressure.
With just one more shot, the Rusties face a crucial tactical decision. They could aim straight at the walls and get a sure hit for 30 points, or they can raise their barrel even higher to drop the pumpkin into the castle for a massive 100 points. But it's a big risk. Miss, and it's all over.
We gotta elevate.
Yeah, we got to go up a bunch.
The Rusties decide to go for broke, and up goes the barrel.
No.
Come on, baby.
Drop it in the hole and make them earn their money.
Okay, guys. This is our last shot.
Let's do it. Come on.
3, 2, 1.
Windage. Ah!
Kathy, did any of it hit the wall?
I've got my X-ray contact lenses in, and all I can see is a rather shocked-looking spider.
Gentlemen, the war is over. Final score. Young Guns 30, the Rusty Juveniles not.
And we won.
A job well done. And remember, when it comes to pumpkin chunking, may Gord be with you.
Hey, Rusties. What's up? We dedicate this one to you.
Woo! Yeah! Just seen a bunch of whippersnappers triumph over experience, and that has put the Young Guns into the semifinals.
A count of 5, 4, 3, 2.
Let's take another look at the highlights.
Now gather round, boys, and I'll tell you a story as
Come
near
on,
as I
baby.
can remember.
Oh!
Was the end of October, beginning of November. The air was cold and clear, and I said, boys, listen here. I think I can make a pumpkin fly. John said, can not. I said, can too. So we put that pumpkin in a bucket, swung it and away it flew. John said, no fair. He said, hell, it's in the air. So the challenge was made, and the gauntlet was laid to build a machine to power a pumpkin through the air.
Yeah. You can't beat youth. You can try, but you'll just get tired.
Yeah, we saw your pieces hit the edge of the wall.
Yeah, okay. And yours not.
Join us again next time when we'll be driving more junkyard duelists to distraction.